Hi and welcome to my channel. Today's topic is my top 10 bands of all time. This was a really difficult thing to do because I made a list of bands that I really like, and it came out with, as you can see here, maybe it's that's a lot, 45 I think it is totally, and I had to bring them down to 10. And again, that was difficult. So what I did was I did a Pete Pardo on my number 10. That means I had two bands on number 10. And when I did the list, it was Bob Seger and Bon Jovi. Bob Seger I like a lot. I have seen him live in Boston, and I still got all his studio albums. And I really like that guy. He's also been co-writing some stuff from other bands. So Bob Seger is one of my number 10s. The other one is Bon Jovi, who I've always also seen a lot of time. I've got almost all his albums, both live and studio albums, and I've seen him live I think 7 or 8 times here in Europe. So Bon Jovi is the other number 10. At number 9 I put in Emerson, Lake and Palmer, which is a band that I really enjoyed back in the 70s, and they did a lot of great music. Their catalog was not that big, that's why they are at number 9. And my favorite album from them is their interpretations of Mussorgsky's Pictures of an Exhibition. At number 8 I have a Canadian band, and no, it's not Rush, it's Saga. I've seen Saga a lot. I have almost every CD or album they have released, and that's a lot, I think, way over 20. And I was so lucky to be at the concert called Chapters Live, where they played all the chapters that they have played done over 25 years on several albums, I think 8 or 10 albums. So Saga is my number 8, and I'm going to see Saga this fall when they are touring Europe again. At number 7 I put in Genesis, and some people think, why is Genesis not higher than this? It's because I think in the period where they, with Peter Gabriel and a few albums after he left the band, they really did fantastic music that was very different from what you normally heard in the 70s. And it was theatrical. They had a lot of show going on when they played. And I really enjoy Genesis, and still do. But when they did We Can't Dance, and beyond that, I lost my interest in Genesis, to be honest. Even though I think Phil Collins did a good job as a singer, but it's still not as good as the early stuff. So that's why I put Genesis in at number 7. Now, my number 6, we go to southern parts of the United States, Jacksonville, Florida. The band is, of course, Lynyrd Skynyrd. It's my favorite southern rock band. I've seen them a ton of times. Last time I saw them was in 2018 when they performed in Berlin. Many people think, okay, Lynyrd Skynyrd, what is that? Oh, Sweet Home Alabama and Freebird, and if you're lucky they can say Simple Man, but they have done a ton of other very good songs. If you go into the deep cut of their catalog, on some of the albums like 20 or Endangered Species and so forth, you'll find a lot of other very good songs, but they don't perform them live because people want the same things all the time. And that's a pity, because they really did a lot of fantastic songs over the time. Now, my next one is Bruce Springsteen, and at number 5, I had to put in Springsteen. I saw him first time in Asbury Park, New Jersey, where I watched him live. Oh, and that's many years ago, to be honest. And I like his early works especially, but also his latest album, Letter to You, is a great album. And he, of course, had also, like many bands, had some not so good albums, but I think that his catalog is so strong that he actually deserves to be number 5 on my list. Now, back to Europe, and here we find Uriah Heap. I saw Uriah Heap live back in the 70s, and I loved them. Very humble. Salisbury. You got Demons and Wizards. Wonder World, of course, Magician's Birthday, with the great artwork from Roger Dean. And Uriah Heep is still doing great music, and they are still going strong. And I'm going to see them, I think, in September in Hamburg on their 50th anniversary tour. So Uriah Heep is my number 4. My number 3 is Rick Wakeman. I love the period where Rick Wakeman is playing at the band, and I saw them when they recorded Yes songs back in 1972. I was seeing them live in Copenhagen, and again, the same lineup I saw back in 1996 in San Luis Obispo when I was visiting a friend of mine who lived there. And by coincidence, this concert well, and they actually did 2 double CDs from that album, where both sides 1 are or disc 1s are the live recordings, and disc 2 are new studio material. And the lineup was Wakeman, it was Howe, Squire, Anderson, and White on drums. So that was the lineup I also saw in 1972. So that's why I put them in here. Of course, I like Rick Wakeman. He was the one that actually inspired me to play piano back in the days, and he's doing a lot of solo work. And who doesn't remember the 6 Wives of Henry VIII, or Journey to the Center of the Earth, the Knights of the Round Table, and so forth. And and especially like also that the Return to the Center of the Earth that he made, I think in 1990s, 96, 7, something like that. And also his latest instrumental album that is on describing 8 places on Mars. Sorry. So now we go to my number 2, and that's the Eagles. I saw Eagles the first time in 1971, I think. 71, at a club in California called the Troubadour, and I've been a fan of the Eagles ever since. I've of course got all their studio albums. Is it 7 or 8? Who knows? Maybe Hell Freezes So is a studio album. Other people consider it as a live album. It's something, a mix, I think. And then of course the problem with the Eagles is after the long run, it took them 28 years to do a new studio album, and hopefully we'll get another studio album, so we don't have to wait 28 years, because then it will be 2033 before the next studio album from Uriah Heap comes out. From Eagles come out, and that's would be a pity. So hopefully they can do another album very soon. I mean, they write the music anyhow. So back to number 1, and it's an American band called Kansas. I've been a huge fan of them since they did their first album, self-titled, back in 75, and the second one, Song for America, and then they did Mask, Leftover Tour, To the Point of No Return, and Monolith, and then the style changed a little bit, but they still did a great number of tracks. At a period where Steve Walsh left the band to do some solo projects, and they had a few that was, well, decent albums but not good. Then they had Always Is Never the Same, which is a studio album or a live album? I don't know. It was recorded with the Philharmonica Orchestra in London. So, but it's still great music, and then they had a break, so to speak, and in 2016 they came out with the Prelude Implicit here. This one was, which is a great album. I really like it. The new musicians came on, and Ronnie Platt took over from Steve Walsh, and that's not a bad change. In 2020 they came out with this Absence of Presence, which was my album of the year in that year. It's just such a great music that they do, and hopefully, and I will go to Berlin in October to see Kansas live again. I'm really looking forward to that. But this is my top 10 of all times, and I challenge you to do yours. So here's the challenge: take up your top 10 bands of all time. At present, it might change. Mine will change most likely. I could have included bands like Dream Theater or Rush, Electric Orchestra, Light Orchestra, Jethro Tull, Outlaws, Styx. I mean, there are so many great bands. So put it down to 10 is really a difficult task. So that's why I'm challenging you to do the same. So and you can take any genre of music that you like. I was very close to put in Sugarland, because I really like the voice of Jennifer Nettles and the music of Sugarland. And I mean, you have a lot of great artists all over. It doesn't have to be hard rock or progressive rock or anything. In this list, I didn't include anything from classic music, because that's a whole different world. But this was all from me. Thank you and goodbye.